Hello there, this is Cindy at cindybdesigns.com, and that's where you can find my blog. Today I have a technique video for you. I'm just going to show you how to do it. I'm not going to complete a card or anything like that, but check back over the next couple weeks and I have a ton of them planned, and they're going to be showing up on my blog and on my Instagram, and if I remember I'll pin it, and then on my Facebook fan page. I'm not a big social media person. Anyhow, I'm going to be working with these pop-up elements by MFT stamps, okay? So here's one size of them, and they are thinner and they're longer. Here is another size with they're wider, but yet they're shorter. This is what we're using, and there's going to be 5 dies. This is the inside of my card. We're going to make a pop-up Christmas tree using these dies. I thought that'd be kind of fun. So I've got my score line going really well, and I'm gonna give them an order first because I cut them apart, and I always have panic attacks if I cut apart my MFT dies because you can line them up with images. So we're going to have a big Christmas tree. Another thing too, these can also be presents. Lots of uses here. If you're super brave, even a shaker card. Very cool. So what I'm going to do is, you can see it's going to cut, and there's a cut line right in the center, and you want to get that right where your card is scored. And with these, I'm going to tape them because I need them to stay in place. You can stack them on top of one of each other, and it's okay because you're still going to have that space due to the edges here if you want. But it's all up to your card design, how high you want your tree to go, what you want to put on top, all of it. And to get your tree or stack of presents or whatever straight, these dies make it super easy for you. I'm just going to stack mine on top of each other. I can zoom in. Okay, see what I'm doing? I'm not leaving any gaps. They make it really easy for you because they are spaced perfectly. Now if you look at this right here, I have like a little gap right there because I still have an end of my die left, and I'm really good about normally snipping those all the way down to nothing, but sometimes it gets kind of hard to. So grab a metal file. I got one in my garage. I honestly just thought about that. But it's not going to mess you up too much. So I'm just going to start stacking these, and there's going to be a ton of ways I'm going to be decorating these over the next couple weeks. And I also kind of look at which side doesn't have that little thingy on it either. So like I said, super basic starter. Okay. Now, if you have an electronic machine, I always use my Vagabond. It's snap, crackle, pop all the way through. That's totally normal, but for this video, I'm going to have to bring in my Big Shot, and I'm going to have to run this puppy through a few times. Just back and forth. My plates are kind of trash, but that's okay. And it's just your basic sandwich. I'm sure it cut through that first time, but there. And that is how you can see how it's going to cut through. So the next thing you want to do when you're done with that is I'm just going to fold this and start pulling these off. And there's a reason why there's a reason why I put my tape in the middle too. A, I can pull it off really easy. B, this kind of looks like a really ugly, boring Christmas tree, and it cut all the way through. So of course you want to get your score lines going and everything. And like I said, I scored it super good. So we're going to set this aside for a moment. And I'm going to pull in some cardstock. This is Authentic Christmas Classics, I think. It doesn't really matter. And depending on the pattern that you want to use is how you want to line it up. But I picked a generic one just for this video. So I'm going to throw all of my dies back on. And one thing I really forgot to do that was totally critical is score it. Don't forget to score any cardstock that you want to use. So I'm just going to go ahead and fold this in half, grab my bone folder, and this is the other thing too. Do a test run on your cardstock that you want to use. This is thicker than normal pattern paper because you don't want it to crack like that. And so that's why you want to do the test run. But if you look at this side over here, it's not showing. Oh, let's see. See, I'm not seeing any white cardstock through that. But I really like that pattern. It'll make my tree look like garbage. And I'm not going to be keeping that card around, honestly, to tell you the truth, because it's just a practice one. Now, where I'm going to struggle with this is I can't see the score line. So another thing that you can do is draw. I'm just going to use a pen. This is 6 by 6, so I need to be 3 inches. Is just draw a line down the middle with a pencil so you can erase it. So like I said, I'm just going to use a pen because I'm just going to show you how to make this. And I really hope that's down the middle. Not really, but close enough. So you want to load your dies back on top of your score line there. So I'm going to do that really fast. And I haven't even done a practice run of this, but to be honest with you, forget what I said about the pen, because just as long as you get the first one lined up the right way, the rest are automatically going to fall because you've got that line in the middle to help you out. Okay, I'm going to bring back in my big shot here, slide this off, slip this in, this one I'm going to go through a few times. You can always pick it up and check. I need one more time. Okay, I'm going to move that. Pull my card stock back in. just kind of get everything separated here a little bit. And we'll do like a whole card one of these days. It'll be soon too. Now the cool thing about this is that you get them all up to where they're all a mountain, and it's going to fold for you pretty easily. You don't really have to coax it at first, but you just want to get all your score lines in there. And you can do that with your fingers. And this is what it's going to look like. Scoring is everything with this. Okay, so when you close it, of course you're going to have a card base and everything like that. This will probably be, you want to cut it a little bit shorter than the standard A2 size. So when the recipient opens it up, they have this cute little pop-up Christmas tree. And it can also be a shaker card too. Now, this looks really funky up here just because these two pieces right here, they are coming up. But we really want them to stay down. And that's all going to be just by simply folding them down or pushing them down. And this is the only way I can phrase it personally, is training your paper. Okay. See, I have more of these little lines sticking out this time than I did the last time. And your base, you want at least 100-pound weight. So again, you're going to have your, I don't even have a sample card here. Yeah, I do. Okay, I'm working on this. But remember, it's not trimmed over. So you're going to have this inside. This is all going to be adhered down. So when the recipient opens it, it's going to look like that. And that's a Christmas tree or a stack of presents. So when you pull your dies off here, and this is where the fun part comes in. And this is, again, this is where you really want to watch your pattern paper. You can go ahead and trim all of these down if you want with your paper trimmer, and then just go one at a time so they're 100% even. So let's go ahead and do that. I had to walk across the room. I like using the ones with the lines because it helps me to see. It's very hard to see on this side. This is why I turn it over. But you'll be able to see like where the cuts are with that wire. And I am just going to start with the bottom one first. But it's also trimming out everything else, and that's where you go back in. Okay, so here's piece one. That's where you go back in and just start trimming away at each end, and you're cutting it down shorter every single time. I look at down here. I really should be zoomed in for this. I look at down here to see where the end of the line is. And I also pay attention to my margins on both sides. Okay, and here's piece number 2. And I would rather do it this way than use my scissors because I'm going to get an expert, precise, nice looking cut. That's piece number 3. And where you're cutting, I've noticed it's easier if you start like what's closest to you. But sometimes at the top too, it's just like a piece by piece wing it situation where you can see the paper better and everything. I hope this is short. I got them all. Awesome. Okay, so here are all of our pieces. And again, this is where the scoring comes in. You want to make sure that they are very nicely creased. And remember, this is going to look terrible because I got a pen over here and this is cracking, but it's just, okay, this is how you do this. Whatever you do, don't adhere anything down until you put every single one of these on here and make sure that it all looks pretty cool. Now, since our cardstock is the exact same size as our little channels, let me find some temporary adhesive or something. Okay, I'm just going to pop some on there because depending, you may need to trim it up just a little bit. That's something that we will see. Maybe a teeny tiny bit. See, when you lay this down to glue, you know what, I might as well just use adhesive. Let me find some fast. And I know where mine is. It's like, which drawer? So I'm going to pop that on. And these little lines, you know, all the lines help you line up one thing from the other. If you use liquid glue, pop it on here, you know, on a non-stick surface, and then grab a block to hold it down. But since this is just kind of, okay, this is how you do this, I'm not going to worry about it. So I'm using everything as a guide. Need all my pieces here. Now, do not put adhesive where your tree bends. I put it on the wrong side. Well, we'll just kind of have like a little funky weird tree. But you don't want to stick it where it bends because it's going to make it harder to bend. I'll go back to putting it, see? I'll go back to putting it on the right side. So the dies and everything pretty, you know, they do almost everything for you. And you butt it right up against that crease line. And it's almost like an inlay where it'll put itself down by itself. So I'll do this one up here for you, nothing on the score line. And that is how you make your tree. Now remember, I did not adhere this down very well at all. And if you're using liquid glue, you have, you know, the monkeying time to play around with it to get it adhered very well. I need to get that one piece down because when you close this and you want your glue's drying, you want all these back pieces here, you want them sticking out like that. I'm going to get this puppy folded up. And I knew that middle one I didn't have lined up right. Okay, so this is, again, where you grab the craft mat, stick it down, let it dry. And that's how you train your cardstock too. So that when it automatically opens up, this portion here is used to just being inside like that. Actually, it's kind of better to dry it that way. Work with it. It is, you want to dry it with those, your ugly parts. And then let it set up. And again, it's training the paper because it's keeping it flat. So that way when whoever gets the card, they're not going to see any of this ugliness, okay? This is what they're going to see when they open it up. You've already got your paper trained. So it's going to open straight up like that. Zoom out. And you're going to have your Christmas tree or your stack of presents, whatever you want it to be. So that's my super quick tutorial. I hope that you enjoyed it. This is like a really bad primitive card, but setup that I just wanted to get the technique out there, and I'll be doing some other cards later on down the line. So again, I'm using the My Favorite Things Pop-Up Elements. There's 2 sizes. I grabbed these too. I do have the Everyday Pop-Ups by Lawn Fawn. You can use these as well. It's going to be a bit more difficult because not everything is in the middle. There's only, if you wanted a baby tree, you have these 3 that are right in the middle. And then they have little tabbies there. But with the other dies, they're not. So there's options. But with the My Favorite Things, they're completely lined up, 2 sizes both ways. So I hope that you enjoyed my little pop-up presents or Christmas tree or technique video. Do you need these dies? No. Do you want them? Yes. Excuse me, because you could do this with a craft knife, but why? That's the way I see it anyway. So I hope that you got something out of this, and come back and you'll see a lot more cards. I will use both Christmas trees and presents, and I have some fun things in store. So thank you so much for stopping by to visit me today. Again, my blog is at cindybdesigns.com, and I hope you have a great day and God bless. I'll see you the next time around. Bye.